Hello everyone and welcome, I'm BCEO, and in today's video we're going to be talking about the season finale of Skeleton Crew. So this episode starts off right where the last one left off, which was the Jedi, aka Crimson Jack, was in front of the group with all their parents and was like, no, we're going to go see I want to go see the supervisor. And so he convinces the parents to take all their kids home except for Fern. Fern and her mother are asked to go with him to see the supervisor because he thinks it'll be a good idea for her to see the supervisor and understand the mistakes that she's made, right? Now the idea of this is he wanted a hostage so he knew what he was doing. However, he then, like I said, everyone else went to their separate things. And the droids were ordered by the ambassador, aka Crimson Jack, to watch the children and make sure that they go to bed and they're not to communicate with other people and things of that nature, right? So the kids aren't able to talk to each other. So then we have him go to the oh my gosh, what's it called? The supervisor. Oh my gosh, I lost my train of thought. I was so mad because I wanted to call it something else. So we find out who the supervisor is. It was not a person like I thought. It was actually a robot. So a droid that controls everything. And the weird thing too is Jack's like, you guys are run by a droid? And Fern's mother's like, yeah, of course we are. Like, why wouldn't we be? Like, this is what it's meant to be. And so they have that going on, right? So while they're dealing with that, right, Fern's trying to say some things, but obviously Jack's not allowing her to say more, and is basically making like the threatening like look at her to make it very clear of like what's going on. So we then have Fern try to not escape but explain to her mother what's going on. And that's when Jack tries to outsmart everyone, because he's now being attacked by all the droids and everything else that are in the room. He pulls out his lightsaber and stabs the supervisor right through the eye. Granted, it's a droid, which apparently the supervisor controls everything. So when he was destroyed, all of the power went out completely in that. So now everything's gone down, and even the security droids are shut down as well. So Wim tries to explain to his dad what's going on, and his dad's like, no, it's just a power outage, like that happens all the time. And he like slams the droid, one of the droids down. It's like, Dad, like, no, something severe is happening. He's like, now that the droids aren't listening, like, Jack is a bad guy. Like, he has a crew up there ready to come down and take this whole place out. And so the dad tries to get his car started, which doesn't work because there's no power. Oh my gosh. Neil and KB come to Wim's house with their hover bikes, and that's when Wim realizes, oh shoot, we can use our hover bikes, and then begins to go off. So they then get over there and they begin to take off. The dad then takes the hover bike from one of the kids, not the main group. Another kid from the block takes him, and the four of them try to go. While that's happening, they're all trying to split up. That's when Crimson Jack convinces, with a lightsaber to Fern's neck, convinces Fern's mother to allow access to his ship to come into AT-AT. So she agrees. The big massive ship comes down with all the other little ships as well. They make it into AT-AT, and they begin to destroy AT-AT. They begin to take all their ships out and start blasting everything. Nobody's fighting, obviously. So now the ships are trying to go after the four hover bikes, and they then get to the school. Neil's hover bike gets destroyed. He tells the group to go on, and he will deal with what he needs to deal with. So the three of them, so Wim's dad, Wim, and KB, make it to the ship that they were going to take up to relay a message to try to get support in. While that's going on, they realize that they're going to have, because of the locks, the parking locks on the ship are not, or docking locks, sorry, are in place, and because they need the power on for it to open, they need to go to the supervisor. So Wim and his dad take off on the hover bike to try to get the power on, while KB stays with the ship to get herself ready, so when it unlocks, she takes off and relays the message to the Owl, who would then relay the information to the New Republic. So Wim and his dad make it to the supervisor's location. Jack hears the elevator and sees just Wim. Wim then tries to explain like a massive story about like how things happen and everything else, and like it was basically like a wise tale that was definitely false. But Jack's humoring him to listen and everything else, and Fern is trying to convince Jack as well that it's true, because she saw that he was only making that distraction because of Wim's dad trying to turn on the power. So during all of this, Wim's dad is able to turn on the power. KB's allowed to take off and go into space. So he's like, really, you thought this was all going to work, didn't you? So during all of this, there's massive fighting going on, obviously. The other ships go out, so KB relays the message to the Owl. The Owl says the New Republic will be coming. She gets shot down by the pirates. She crash lands into the school. They freak out, thinking bad things are happening. Neo opens up the school laser cannons and starts massively going after the big ship. Gives it a whole bunch of damage before that's blasted, and he has to run away. Then all of that is a big, huge confrontation with Jack trying to explain he doesn't want anybody getting hurt, but they all decide that they're going to have to try to shut down the barrier, because that's the only way they're going to be safe. So during all this, we then have them a fight with, the Force and everything else, blah, blah, blah. But in the end, Wim's dad and Fern's mother both combine, turn off the barrier, and allows the New Republic to come in and decimate the pirates. We don't see what happens to Jack, because Wim, Fern, and their parents leave the place through the elevator. However, they, Jack seems to just be staying in the supervisor's tower, basically waiting for the inevitable to happen, because the pirate ship gets destroyed and shot down by the planet. By the New Republic, and we see all the ships get destroyed, or what looks like to be all the ships destroyed. While that's happening, we have the Force. So KB, no. I lied, I do apologize. Fern, Wim, and their two parents run over to try to see where KB landed. So they see her at the school, and they see it like tilting down. They see all this credits come out of the ship, and then KB slide down. They go over to her, they find out that she's alive, and that she was able to fly it because of, 38 helped her out, or 33 helped her out. They then get her out of there before the ship collapses on top of them. And the way the show ends, which kind of bothers me, is we see the massive fleet of the New Republic come in, and it ends with the idea of the pirates winning, and Ad-Atten is no longer, I don't want to say it's not a mid-planet anymore, but it's not held in secrecy anymore. So now, like, the world is their oyster in a way, where it's like now they're free and able to be open up to the universe. And that's how the season ends. I wish there was a little bit more closure, where we got to see kind of like, even if it was just I don't think it needed a whole nother episode. I think it needed like 5 minutes of them just being like, Jack's arrested, we're now gonna, help you guys out and try to keep you safe because you're the Mint and everything else, and go from there, or at least kind of give us an idea of what's gonna be for the future of Ad-Atten. But it left with just the fact of like the kids live and the pirates were defeated, and that's kind of where we are, and we don't really know the aftermath / consequences of Ad-Atten's barrier being destroyed. So I really wish we would have gotten something like that, but either way, it was still a good season. Definitely enjoyed it. It was definitely well done. It was a kid show, and it was worked perfectly. It had the right amount of good and bad. Like, I had a lot of the kid-friendly stuff, but also adult-friendly stuff too, which I liked. But overall, just a great show in general. But let me know what you guys thought about this episode and this season overall in the comments down below. Did you like it? Did you not? And why? And as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eel signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.